Another giant thing with designing for a user that we talk about all the time, but the average person might not know about as much, specifically for like digital products even, is ADA and accessibility. Can you explain a little bit about what that means in digital spaces?
Yes. So when we create products and experiences, we need to make sure that they're functional. Not only like immersive experiences and just pushing content along. We need to make sure that that it's actually functional for all different types of users. And some of these users may have some different disabilities. Some of the disabilities could be vision. It could be other physical disabilities of usability with these products. So there's all these guidelines to follow to make sure that you're achieving this level of success, or this level of success that a user is going to be able to interact with any of their disadvantages in mind.
Are we starting to see, I feel like I'm not too in the space and social, but having worked with you two, I am now more aware of ADA things. Are we starting to see more sites and pieces of content penalized for not being ADA compliant?
Like, there are definitely specific things. Yeah, it's like way more intense and important for like different companies depending on what's on your site and what you're dealing with, working with, if it's legal especially. On other sites, it might not be as intensive. You also have different levels of ADA. So you can be AAA compliant or AA compliant. And then there's also like different ADA compliance, like as Schwartz says, covers so many things. And it actually is like really difficult to break down these guidelines specifically. There are agencies that like super, super specialize in it. We definitely do. We aren't like necessarily a specialized agency. Obviously we do a lot of stuff, but we do work with ADA compliancy. We do always recommend it to our clients.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely sometimes you get clients who are like less interested in it because it is restrictive with colors particularly. That's something we often run into, like, because color contrast is really important.
Yeah.
That's mostly what we run into with design, as well as kind of standards around like sizes of things to be able to click. But then there's also a lot that development would do, which we don't touch on as much. But yeah.
I do find myself wanting to use the captions on TikTok with the pink, which is only one pink and it's a pale pink with white text, because I think it's pretty. Yeah. But having worked with you two, I know that's not ADA compliant.
Yeah.
Pastel pink.
And that's like really interesting when you're working with different shades of color and then trying to put text on top of it. So when we approach these scenarios, we're always considering about optimization and making sure that the color palette is passing compliance. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes tough depending what type of brand you're working with, because what will happen if they're a mature enough company that a lot of these compliance scenarios could put them in some trouble. What we do is provide a detailed library of colors that are close to their colors, mm-hmm. and make sure that they rank. So
that's super helpful.
To a regular person who's not looking at it from that angle of, is this going to be compliant or not?
Right.
It's slight, mm-hmm. but that's the thing about color, that people are so connected to these tones that it could be sometimes a little disruptive.
I would say also with compliance, you've seen it pull into other areas as well, like on social, when you do like alt text, that's also another form of compliance, or just on SEO in general, having alt text for images is something you do. So it really touches a lot of different disciplines. Although we might have like a smaller, but yeah, if we also have a great blog about ADA compliance written by Tom Bendel.
But it is also a thing in social media. The ADA that I deal with are captions and subtitles, and you are starting to be penalized. Not penalized per se, but things perform better when you have appropriate captions and subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the industry where we're trying to create the best experiences, however it's going to be promoted. So there's so much that is involved with that, and color theory and spacing and padding and other visual hierarchy is definitely important to as ingredients for best performing creative.
So you can follow us, BrainDo, on Instagram and TikTok. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can also connect with Mr. Brian Schwartz on LinkedIn.
And please follow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, maybe leave a review. We love that. And check out our services on our website, please.